All right, friends, it's time to get started. Welcome to the 5,406th meeting of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. Yay! Great to see you all today. One fun family Rotary fact about me, I woke up with my eyes swollen shut, so I've taken 6 Benadryls today, so bear with me if I stumble on some words or fall asleep. With that said, I'd like to invite Kai Kai up to lead us in song.
Okay, this is a beautiful song for the beautiful country. Oh, beautiful for spacious sky, for amber waves all green, for purple mountain majesty above the fruity plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowns thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea, from sea to shining sea.
That was a fun surprise. Thank you. That was a fun surprise. And I'd like to thank our Disaster Relief Committee led by Terry Chapman for being in the greeting line today. And of course, I hope you all had the chance to stop by the Fish Committee, the ELC Committee, and the Interact Committee tables to learn more about that committee's service and to express your interest in potentially joining. A gentle reminder, today's the first meeting of the month, so we have fresh baked goods from Lindley Zink's Little Bites Bakery. There are cupcakes over there by the coffee. You are free to enjoy coffee as well as this delicious snack, even if you did not purchase lunch. So don't be shy, go get yourself some cupcakes, they're delicious. And today we have 2 people celebrating birthdays on this very day, and that's Carl Guardino. I don't know that he could join us, but his beautiful bride and Red Badger Leslie has joined us, so happy birthday to Carl. And to Catherine Tompkinson, who leads our Mighty Military Care Committee. Best wishes to everybody celebrating a birthday this week. And then one last reminder, we ask that our Red Badge members sit at a red napkin placed at a table. This is designed to break down barriers for people who maybe always sit together, to expand our reach and to get to know each other better. So thank you for that. We'll move into guest introductions now. So for our Red Badgers who are with the microphones, please stand and briefly introduce yourself. We have Emily Ruvalcaba, I hope I got that right, and Megan Tennisketter.
Hello, President Karen. Emily Ruvalcaba, business banker at Bridge Bank, and my sponsor was Sarju Naran.
Hi, President Karen. My name is Megan Tennisketter. I'm the CEO of Tennisketter Construction, and my sponsors were Arthur Weisbrot and John Ball.
Oh, very good. And thank you, Emily, for hosting an event with Rotarians a couple of weeks ago at Bridge Bank. It was lovely to get to know our Red Badge members better. Really appreciate that. If you're a visiting Rotarian or you have a guest, please stand. Bunny?
President Karen, I'd like to introduce my husband, Glenn Gould.
All right. We love first gentlemen and husbands here. Thank you. Megan, up here.
Good afternoon, President Karen. Tim Gill, and I'm a plaintiff's personal injury attorney. And my guest today is Doug Chalene. He's the Chief Product Officer at MindMarker, a B2B e-learning technology company that is leveraging the power of generative AI to deliver learning that sticks. Please welcome my guest, Doug Chalene. Thank you.
Welcome, Doug, and we hope we see you at future meetings. All right. Yes, Matt.
Hello, President Karen. Matt Breaker, DA's office. My guest today is our speaker from the DA's office, Erin West. More about her in a few minutes.
Welcome, Erin. All right. Terry, why don't you come up and give an update on the Disaster Relief Committee, please?
Hi, the Disaster Relief Committee was established 11 years ago after the tsunami in Japan, which followed the largest earthquake in Japan. We basically do three things. First of all, for Rotarians who want to make a personal donation in response to a disaster, we do research and come up with organizations where you can be assured that 100% of your donation actually goes to the victims. We often partner with Rotary clubs to do that and nonprofits to achieve that. We also, like many committees in Rotary, we have a small pool of funds that we get annually. So we distribute those funds when disasters happen. And then finally, the third thing that we do is we support club-wide projects. And an example of that would have been the farm worker caravan that we did recently in Pajaro to support the Pajaro flood victims. We're different than a lot of other clubs, a lot of other committees, because we meet primarily online. We come together when a disaster happens, and we share research and make our recommendations online. So if scheduling is a problem for you, this might be a good club to join. In addition, I'd like to let you know that we support both domestic and international disasters. And the list of things that we include, that we have supported in the past, have been cyclones, tsunamis, floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, ice storms, the pandemic, and the war in Ukraine. So I think when it comes to disasters, the only thing that I think we haven't supported has been a pestilence. But I hope we don't have to do that, but we seem to be, hitting them all. To date, we've distributed about $350,000 in funds, and those aren't our committee funds. Those are primarily funds that have come from all of you. And I'll tell you, if I didn't know this before, I certainly know this now, that Rotarians are probably among the most empathetic and generous people on the planet. And I just wanted to thank you for all of the people across the globe who have been who have had the honor to have taken your funds and put them to good use because of the problems that they've been in. Just to thank you, and thank you for all the money that you have donated. And if you would like to join us, please email me or come see me after the meeting, because we would love to have you be part of our group. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. And one fun transportation fact, based on something she said at the beginning of her comments relating to the tsunami in Japan. When that trifecta of disasters hit in 2011, it included the earthquake, the nuclear meltdown, and the tsunami. The Shinkansen, the first high-speed rail train system in the entire world to be developed and implemented in 1964, was able to slow and stop operations due to P-wave sensors giving advance notice of that trifecta of disasters coming, and a well-trained workforce successfully evacuated every passenger without injury or death. How cool is that? Mick Greco, come on up and give us an update on the Rotary Play Garden, please. IT will take care of that.
No worries. That is a cool fact. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. It is my pleasure to share with you that this year's Rotary Play Garden Family Picnic is just right around the corner. The Play Garden Family Picnic is, of course, an annual tradition that really truly embodies Rotary's spirit of community service, inclusivity, and crucially, the importance of family. This year's Family Picnic is scheduled for Thursday, September 28th from 4 to 7 p.m. at where else? The Rotary Play Garden. The event is once again being planned in partnership with the Guadalupe River Park Conservancy and Parents Helping Parents, a nonprofit organization that offers invaluable support, resources, and education to parents of children with alternative needs. The Play Garden will be closed to the public on the day of the picnic, providing a true VIP experience for PHP families and Rotarians and guests. There will once again be a small resource fair for families, and yes, beer and wine will be available for Rotarians and in attendance.
All right.
A boxed picnic dinner will also be available for a nominal fee of $15, and if you're interested in partaking in that, please reach out to the Rotary office for more information. We once again expect to have a wide range of community leaders joining the event and plan for a brief, heartfelt welcome program at approximately 5:15 in the evening. I would be remiss not to mention the recent Play Garden expansion briefly. If you haven't had a chance to visit recently, I urge that you take advantage of this opportunity to see the many fantastic additions to the Play Garden, including a labyrinth, a willow arbor, zip line, shaded areas. The expansion was a resounding success, creating an even more beautiful, magical, and fun place to play. And I would also be remiss not to mention that we are approaching the Play Garden's 10th anniversary and its millionth visitor. It has been a hub for families of all backgrounds and people of all abilities, and truly animates Rotary's vision and impact in a way that few other events or locales could ever hope to. So please bring your spouse, your kids, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, or just bring yourself and a friend for an evening of celebration, fun, and fellowship. Let's come together as a Rotary family and celebrate the Play Garden and its lasting impact on our community. Thank you.
We're having a little IT problem, and as a Luddite, I've requested assistance while he gets the PowerPoint back up and running. Oh, well, that was super simple. Thank you. Super simple for you, I think is what I meant to say. And now I'd like to invite my dear friend and someone I sponsored into Rotary, Anna Rudell, to give us a mindfulness moment. And this really focuses on building emotional health, resilience, and well-being.
And hopefully we won't put Karen asleep with those 6 Benadryls on board. Okay, so using neuroimagery on the brain, recent research shows that mindfulness stimulates the parts of the brain responsible for stress-reducing neurotransmitters. When you meditate, you're generating higher alpha and theta brainwave signals, which help stimulate the prefrontal cortex in the brain, which improves your mood, decreases pain, incites relaxation, and boosts the immune system. By simply closing your eyes, even when you're awake and not meditating, your brain slows down to the alpha cycle. Alpha brainwaves are associated with being in a relaxed, non-aroused state of mind. This is why closing your eyes throughout the day instantly helps you feel more relaxed, because it slows down your brainwaves. And so I invite you to close your eyes as you're sitting there. Relax into your body and allow your brain to recalibrate a little bit. When you are ready, gently open your eyes and notice how you feel.
Her voice is so melodic. I think I almost fell asleep. That Benadryl combined with that voice, boy, it's a doozy. All right, it's the first meeting of the month, so we have Ring the Bell. If you'd like to share some exciting news, please stand, and we'd love to hear from you. And while you're all thinking about the wonderful things you'll share, I'm going to kick it off for Richard Alejandro, who's joining by Zoom today. And I'm looking at you, Fernando, because he'd like to ring the bell for you, because you received the La Raza Historical Society Community Service Award last week, and he's so proud of you. Congratulations. So one ring. Norm, let's hear what you got. She's running. She's coming.
Great.
I like that
Okay,
hustle.
President Karen. I'm not involved in it, but I'm going to be there. Gilroy Rotary Club is sponsoring a pickleball tournament in, of all places, Gilroy, on Saturday, September 30th. And I don't have a flyer, but if you Google Gilroy Rotary Pickleball, you'll find it. And I bet we have a bunch of pickleballers here. And if you're a beginner like me, don't worry, because in 5 years, you're still not going to win the tournament. Just come and have some fun. It's a benefit for charities.
So
one ring.
One ring. And that's the fastest growing sport in America, incidentally.
For 3 years in a row.
Woohoo! Yes, I see you in the back.
Howdy.
Howdy.
By the way, the key to a successful pickleball team is to not dilly-dally.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Moving right along, I would like to ring the bell a few times. My wife Gina and I we're able to meet and welcome our fourth grandchild over the Labor Day weekend. Little Beckett Stephen Adams was born to our daughter-in-law Monique and our youngest son Jeffrey, and is now the little brother of big sister Ella, who celebrated her third birthday just yesterday. So that gives us 4 grandchildren, so let's ring the bell 4 times,
All right,
please.
congratulations.
Hello, President Karen. I wanted to ring the bell once for my dear friend Sarah Janikin, who has her birthday tomorrow and somehow got left off the list, and
no.
Rotarian extraordinaire.
Sarah, you are loved, and that was unintentional. Our apologies for not highlighting your birthday. Yes!
Hi there. I'm Emily Robin. I would like to ring the bell one time to say welcome home to my husband, Matt Robin, who just spent way more days than expected in the very dusty, wet, noisy desert of Nevada at Burning Man.
Welcome back. Fernando.
Well, today is my bride of 59 years, her 80th birthday. She's been telling people she's 80 for a year, and now she really is. I'd like to ring it 6 times because we have 6 grandchildren.
Wonderful. And happy birthday to Cecily, and I hope you enjoy that family dinner at Maggiano's this evening. Any more ring the bell? All right, well, we're just moving right along in today's agenda. A few reminders. Next Wednesday, we will not be meeting at lunch. We will be having our annual barbecue, and hot off the presses, there will now be a car show associated with that. But instead of vintage cars, it's going to be more modern cars. And if you are interested, please email Mike Mack. We can provide his email address, and he is in charge of how the cars will be rolled out, I guess, pun intended. So please, please, please sign up now. We only have about 150 people RSVP'd. This is one of our hallmark events, really fun. It's just all about being together and getting to know each other. And it stresses the staff tremendously if we wait to the last minute to actually sign up. So remember, if things change, you can cancel with no penalty Monday by noon. But there is a place to sign up in the lobby, and we urge you to take action. And look at those cool cars. Yeah, Mike, thank you for that. That will be terrific. And another reminder that on Friday, October 6th, we have an international dinner that's going to support a rural healthcare in Nigeria. There will be Nigerian food, music, and great fun. Tickets are $65 a piece. $50 of that is tax deductible and supports our initiatives. So please sign up to go, and if you are busy that night, you can simply use the QR code on the flyer on your table and make your donation straight away. It's very important, so thank you for that. As you heard last week, the Fun and Friendship Committee hosted a Labor Day hike at Henry Cowell State Park. They had 10 people show up. It looks like they had a lot of fun, and they're planning the next hike for either October or November, so please stay tuned for that. But boy, it looked like you guys had a great time. And then I wanted to show the picture of Fernando getting his award. Again, congratulations for your tremendous contribution to our community. It's wonderful to see you recognized for that. And I also had it in my notes, Emily, to welcome back our Burning Man contingent. There were 5 of our Rotarians who went. So Matt, nice to see you. And a big thank you to you and Nancy Williams and Mike Bohr and Mike Anning for zooming in from the desert to join us at last week's meeting. Go Rotary, that's pretty exciting. Oh my gosh, we're ahead of schedule, yes. All right, Matt, come on up and introduce our speaker, please. How about that?
Thank you, President Karen. Forbes magazine called her cryptocurrency's new sheriff, and the International Association of Financial Crime Investigators and the District Attorney's Association of Investigators both named her 2022's Prosecutor of the Year, and with good reason. Today's speaker is Deputy District Attorney Erin West, and in a word, she is a superstar. born and raised in Sunnyvale. She overcame what was surely a bit of a challenge, having been brought up next door to our very own Larry Stone. Erin then attended USC for both her undergraduate as well as her Juris Doctorate degrees. And then she set out to work as a prosecutor at the Santa Clara County DA's office. And for approximately 20 years, the first 20 years of her career, she tried some of our most serious cases involving sexual assault cases and career criminals. And then in about 2015, she set her sights on the burgeoning problem of cryptocurrency crime. And what she's done with that assignment is nothing short of extraordinary. She's been profiled in Forbes magazine, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and of course, the Mercury News. One more thing about Erin. She is, in addition to being highly intelligent, extremely hardworking, and incredibly tenacious, she is also quite funny. And it's my hope that we're going to see a bit of that humor and warmth and wit today, what I have no doubt will be an excellent talk. Please join me in welcoming Deputy District Attorney Erin West.
Do you guys like the way I wore the same dress so you could identify me from the picture? It's on. Thank you, Matt. That was super nice and very generous, and so I'm very grateful. So today I'm going to tell you something that is going to blow your mind, I think. I'm going to tell you about a type of crime that is a major problem that you probably don't even know about yet. So let's start off with this. It's called pig butchering. Can you raise your hand if you know what pig butchering is? Oh, we've got one. One, two. Pig butchering in the cybercrime realm. Okay, we've got two. That's fantastic. Let's see. Yeah, do you know that? Yeah, okay, that's a good start. It's going through the, there they are, there they are. Okay, great. All right, how many of you guys have a cell phone? Everybody have a cell phone? How many of you have received a text on your phone that appears to be coming to you from a wrong number? Have you received these? Yes. Right? Where are they coming from? Anybody know where they're coming from? Russia. Nope. No. 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 America. Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia. So I'm going to tell you all about that, and I'm going to tell you why you should be really scared about what's happening in that. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about the history of what's gone on with high-tech prosecution at our district attorney's office. I think you will all be really proud to know that our district attorney, Jeff Rosen, upon taking office, recognized that we live in Silicon Valley and we have some of the biggest players in our backyard in terms of cyber and in terms of the internet and in terms of tech. And because of that, we should be national leaders in that space. And so he took his foresight and he said, I'm going to send people to our National Computer Forensics Institute. This is an institution in Alabama that's run by the Secret Service where you go to get specialized training. So he sent all of us there. What he also did, in a very smart idea, was he sent one of our detectives to be embedded with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and their high-tech, gosh, I don't even know what it's called. I know the initials because everything in the FBI is initials, but what I can tell you is he was embedded with the nation's hardest working and smartest cybercrime fighters. And he took that knowledge back to Santa Clara County, where everyone in this room has benefited from it. I work with a team called REACT. REACT is a multi-jurisdictional task force. It is investigators from different agencies within our county, as well as the Secret Service, and our entire mission is to protect all of us from high-tech crimes. And we take that mission very seriously, and we are well supported by our district attorney who knows how important this is and how important it's becoming. So I want to tell you a little bit about some of our early history at REACT. Starting in 2018, we were working on SIM swappers. These were young hackers who were taking over your cell phone service. and then using that to be able to take over your accounts, your financial accounts. And what they were after at that time was cryptocurrency. And then what they would do is exchange that cryptocurrency for fat bottles of Dom Perignon and McLarens. And what my team was able to do back in that day is we received a case, and it was nothing that we'd ever seen before. But that was the benefit of DA Rosen's thought about getting us educated in advance. We knew what to do with this and how to handle it. And so what we did is we found this team of hackers that were located all over the United States and abroad, and we were the first to get them sentenced to 10 years in prison. And that's a major accomplishment, considering these were younger individuals who had never spent any time in prison, had no record, but were responsible for stealing millions of dollars. And why this is important is because it sets the stage for what's coming next. We taught our bench, we taught our judges, we taught our community that this mattered and this was important, and this was worth 10 years in state prison. Now I want to talk to you about my backyard. So this isn't the backyard where I grew up next to Larry Stone. That's my sister lives there now. My sister lives next door to Larry Stone. But this is my backyard. And the reason why I'm showing you my backyard and why I always talk about my backyard when I start this is that it's happening in your backyard as well. What I'm about to tell you, you're going to think, I don't know anyone who's fallen for this scam, and I guarantee that you do. And I guarantee that there are people in your community who have fallen for this but are not disclosing it to you. So let's go back to your cell phone and your text messages. So I brought up my backyard because this is my backyard, and this was Memorial Day weekend. This is my very best friend, Lisa, and she's sitting there and she's laughing because she's just received this text. Now, I've told you her name is Lisa, so you know she's not Julie. And she's looking at this text and she's like, isn't this funny? I got a wrong number text. And I'm thinking, oh, this is not funny at all, because I know what this is. So this is the beginning stages of pig butchering. The way this scam works is that the scammers are reaching out and they're trying to make a connection with you. There are 4 ways that that could happen. It's going to happen with a wrong number text. It's going to happen on Instagram or some other meta product. It's going to happen on LinkedIn, or it's going to happen on a dating app. That's how they're finding you. So you should be wary of people who are showing up in your life electronically that you did not invite to be there, because they have ulterior motives. Here's another example of the kind of text that you might get. And we love this one at React because this shows what they're doing. What I'm about to tell you about is a syndicate of masterful geniuses on the other side of the world who are here to take your money. And that's all they care about. And what they're doing when they send a text like this is they're trying to pull your heartstrings somewhere. Because all of us are concerned about this dog, right? We may not respond to Maple Drive, but I want to make sure this dog is going to get help. So you can bet I'm going to respond to that and say, oh my gosh, wrong number. And that's what they're looking for. And then what they're going to do is they're going to drop a picture on you, or they're going to start saying, oh, what's your name? And you're going to sit here today and you're going to say, I don't think I would fall for this. Well, I'm here to tell you that your neighbors are falling for this, and I'll tell you more about how it happens. They're going to drop a picture on you that looks like this. And they're going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not bothering you. And then they'll try and strike up a conversation with you. And remember, when this first started to become popular, we were coming right out of COVID. And there were a lot of lonely people. And there continue to be a lot of lonely people. And every victim that I talk to will say something like, yeah, they caught me on a bad day. I'd broken up with a boyfriend, or my wife had just died. And this drops into my thing, and I think, well, I guess I'll have a conversation with her and see what's going on. So let me tell you how the scam works. She will take you, the scammer will move you from whatever platform you're on to WhatsApp. That's the next step. So if you have friends, parents, cousins that are communicating with someone they don't know on WhatsApp, I'm here to tell you that this is part of the scam. They're moving you to WhatsApp because it's an encrypted way of speaking. And it gets you off the platforms that are looking for you. Right now, Meta and LinkedIn, Match, they're doing a good job of trying to keep these people off their platforms, but they can't do everything. So that's why they're going to move you to WhatsApp. And what this whole thing is about is a 3-month courting period. Over the next 3 months, these scammers will reach out to their victims multiple times during the day, multiple times, and they will become the relationship that anyone would look for. And the reason that they know how to do this is because they have playbooks. We've seen their playbooks. Their playbooks show you, what do I do if she is 30 and a tech engineer? Then you talk to her like this. What if he's 50 and just divorced? Well, you talk about this. And what if she is 70 and just lost her husband? It's a masterful, highly targeted program. And over this 90-day period, what they're trying, their goals are twofold. One, to build a trust. Did you just get it? Did you get one of those? Oh, okay. To build a trust that when this person introduces the concept of cryptocurrency, that you already are in love with them and you trust them, and so it doesn't appear to be coming out of nowhere. This scam doesn't work if you and I start texting and then the next day I bring up cryptocurrency. It works because they spend 90 days showing you an enviable lifestyle, showing you expensive cars, nice food, beautiful places that they're visiting. What happens is their first thing is to build the trust. Their second thing is to find out exactly how much money you have. And that's because the whole goal is to take every single penny you have. It's called pig butchering because that's what the Chinese called it. And the Chinese developed this scheme, and the concept is to gut you, to eat you from the snout to the tail. They want it all. They're going to take everything. So over those 90 days, they want to know, am I okay? Okay, that wasn't a sign. Okay. They want to know, yeah, they want to know, do you have a vacation home? Do you own your home? Does your family have money? Because they will not stop their program until they've taken all your money. So in 90 days, they're going to introduce the idea of investing in cryptocurrency. Now, as we sit here today and you're hearing from a fraud prosecutor, you're like, well, I would never do that. That sounds like a terrible idea. Well, let me tell you a little more about how it works. So what they have done, these masterful players, these masterful manipulators, is they have brought together really beautiful looking sites that are just a few letters off real sites. And they make it look like this investment platform. And so when the scammer finally introduces the concept of cryptocurrency, they'll say, well, do you know how I can afford all this? Because I invest in crypto. Oh, I don't know anything about crypto. Well, neither did I, but my uncle taught me, and my uncle could teach you. So then she's going to be getting tips from the uncle. She's going to know what's a comfortable dollar value for you, whether it's $500 or $5,000. She'll get you to invest it in this. Here's technically what's happening. You're taking your money out of your bank. You are putting it into a cryptocurrency exchange. And these are going to be names that you've heard of before. It's going to be Coinbase, or it's going to be Gemini, or it's going to be Kraken, or it's going to be Binance. You're going to put your money into that exchange. And then they are going to walk you through screenshot by screenshot, like press this button, circle this, do that, into how to change your US dollars into a cryptocurrency called USDT. And what that is it's supposed to be a dollar for dollar cryptocurrency so that it makes sense to you, and it's also stable. From there, you invest that cryptocurrency into their fake portal. Now you think this is real. And when you put your $5,000 in it, and the next day you look at it and it's $6,000, and 2 days later it's $7,500, and by the end of the week it's $10,000, you think you have stumbled onto something amazing. And let's think about our people. Our people are in a situation where they are in love and they're having all kinds of crazy endorphins from that, matched with the perfect storm of, oh, and I'm also going to get rich. And what happens with their coercion is these people liquidate everything they have. Now you're going to say to me, Erin, I actually don't believe that's happening. And I am here to tell you that my inbox is full of people in Santa Clara County who've lost $1 million, $1.2 million, 1.5, 1.7. Well, I will. Thank you. A lot of money. A lot of money. Okay, and here's the clincher for them. So when they go to take their money out, this is where it hits hard, is they say, don't read all that. Just look at the yellow part where it's like you are required to pay 24% in tax. So they say, okay, I'd like to take some of my money out. And the girlfriend scammer says, oh, well, the thing is you have to pay the tax. It's 25%. Okay, we'll take it out of my gains. No, it has to be new money. Well, that's when these people are mortgaging their houses, borrowing from their parents, taking out loans, and by the time they get to me, they are devastated. They are shells of people because they've lost literally everything they have. So where is this happening? This is the tragedy upon tragedy. So we can all sit here and be super angry at these scammers that are doing this to our victims. But what's happening is this is happening in Southeast Asia. It's happening primarily in Cambodia and Myanmar. And it's being run by these same masterful people. What they're doing is they realize that there's a whole long story about how they got there involving COVID and casino towers and whatnot, and they've got these empty casino towers, and they think, what can we do? What kind of fraud can we perpetrate? And they pivot, and they come up with this. And so you need a lot of personnel to do this work. And so what they did is they used their same masterful skills in creating web pages to create job opportunities. They're looking for models. They're looking for graphic designers. They're looking for people that do human resources. Fly to Bangkok, we will pick you up and we will take you to your home where you will get room and board and you will be able to do your job in HR. Well, what happens is they show up and their passports are taken, they are put in a bus, and they are bused to either Sihanoukville, Cambodia, or Myanmar. Now, the politics of both of those are super interesting, and I won't delve big into them, but what I will tell you is that there are real economic reasons why people in Cambodia and Myanmar would allow this to continue happening, because it's tons and tons of money. Now back to our people who got tricked into doing this work. They're sitting there with 20 phones in front of them and a computer trying to create relationships with people, and that's all they do all day, every day. And they can't leave because they're locked in these facilities with people walking around with AK-47s. They're required to work 12 hours a day under threat of punishment, and I've seen the punishment, and it's hideous and involves electric batons and beatings with baseball bats. But that's, so as angry as we are at the scammers, we're realizing these are all victims too. We've got victims over there victimizing our people here, and the only people who are winning are the people who are running this whole thing. Who do you think that is? Chinese organized crime. They're running this whole operation. So Chinese organized crime, there are different syndicates. You're familiar with the triad. There are different people that are running this, and they're the profiteers of this ugly, ugly business. So looking at this is Myanmar. This is showing you what a compound looks like, and those are all towers full of people that are working there and being forced to do this scamming. And as you can see, it's massive. The river there is the border between Thailand and Myanmar. And if you see on this side, there's the cell tower. It's actually in Thailand that's providing them with all their cell service. You can see it continues to grow. It's a massive problem. Okay, so why am I so torqued about this? Well, I'll tell you, because it is a major, major issue. And even if you're sitting here today and you're like, I still don't believe it, well, I'll tell you what is happening. I'll tell you what's been reported to the FBI. The FBI runs a data site where they collect information about how big the losses are. So if you look at the 10 billion in online fraud, but what I'm interested in is the $3.3 billion lost in investment fraud, and that's pig butchering. But let's think about this. These are reported numbers. And what we're talking about here is a pretty embarrassing crime. I fell in love with a fake person and then gave them all my money. So do you think people are interested in walking into the police station to report this? And do you think they're getting a great reception when they get there? Not really. So when you think about a number that's 3.3 billion, AARP will tell you that it's like 1 in 40 actually reports. But let's say it's 1 in 3 or 1 in 10. We're talking about $33 billion moving household by household across our middle class and straight over into the hands of organized crime in China. And why is Santa Clara County so concerned? Well, because look at this stat. This is of the $10 billion in online crime. Look at how we are the big winners. And we love to win in California, but we sure do not like to be over 2x Florida, almost 3x New York. Crazy. These are crazy numbers. And so what that means is you know somebody who's lost all their money. There are people in your community who have lost all their money, and what they're doing is they're reporting to where I am. And so what happened back in March of 2018, no, that's SIM swapping. What happened in March of 2022 was we started getting these cases. And our first thought was, well, those are bad guys overseas and the money's going overseas. I don't know what we can do about that. Well, what I can tell you is that the REACT team, we're proactive, even though we're REACT, but we're proactive. And so we decided, well, we are going to do something about that. So we started listening to our victims and listening to what they're saying. And what I want to tell you is that not only is this a financially devastating crime, it's also emotionally devastating. So this is a transcript between our victim, Cy, and Jessica, his scammer. And what Jessica is telling him there, you can see that Jessica has already learned all of the touch points for Cy. She knows about his father. Cy is a first-generation American who is trying to support his family. She knows all that. She knows that his father is sick. And she knows that if he loses his money, he will kill himself. And she's like, no, it's totally great. It's fine. It's fine. So the good news is Cy did not kill himself. He did check himself in because he was afraid. And he continues to talk today, and he's a great speaker about this. But that's the emotional cost that's happening. And so here's what was also happening. Are you a victim of crypto crime? Good luck getting help. That's what Wired said in October of last year. And in Santa Clara County, we said, well, that's not for us. We know how to help people, and we are going to help them. So our approach, led by DA Rosen on this and fully in his support, was, are we going to identify and arrest the triad? No. That's not something we're going to do. But what do we know how to do? Well, back in our SIM swapping days, we learned how to trace cryptocurrency. And we learned it before the rest of the nation did because we had these great cases. So what if we took the first person to come to us, we call him ASR by his initials. He was a 30-year-old software engineer who lost $300,000. What if we traced his money and tried to get it back? Okay, well, his money is in Binance, and that's outside the United States. And we said, well, let's send a search warrant to Binance and see what they do. And sure enough, Binance said, yeah, we don't want this dirty money on our platform. We will send it back to you. Here you go. Here's his money back. And that was our first success story. And so that was exceptional. So trace it, freeze it, seize it, and return it, and then keep doing it. And so to date, we've helped 26 victims, and we've been able to get a significant amount of money back to their people. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are we on time? 2 minutes. Oh, my gosh. Well, let me tell you what else. Okay, so we did it, and we got some press, and that was great. But then that brought us a bunch of victims from all over the nation, because I'm here to tell you that not very many people in the nation know how to do this, and they keep thinking that if they report to the feds will help them. But really, I thought what this is we've got to scale what Santa Clara County is doing. We've got to motivate and teach everyone else to do this. So at first I thought, well, let's do it for local and state. So I built a coalition. I brought together 85 members of state and local all over the U.S., and that was October of last year, and it is ballooned, and today I can tell you it's 1,200 members. We meet online, and we have a listserv to discuss this. We've got all 50 states represented in this, and a significant number of international partners as well. So we are trying to spread our good news that we have in Santa Clara County and continuing to work. And finally, I developed another concept, which was, okay, if we're not going to arrest these people, what can we do? Well, we can educate potential victims. We can educate law enforcement what to do about this. We can seize their money, and we can try and disrupt this work that's happening over there. Let's figure out how to get to Meta and how to get to LinkedIn and how to have them do their work even better. And let's figure out how to get that cell tower down out of Thailand. Let's get them to cooperate. And so that is the mission I'm on right now. It's called Operation Shamrock, and it is it's a grassroots, like everybody has a piece of this. We are all, you're going to come right up here, and we're all in this because this is a worldwide major, major problem. And so that's how you can contact me. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful.
That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. I am not ashamed to admit that I have fallen prey to that. I haven't given any money, but I responded and said, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number. And now I realize that that was intentional and pig butchering, and that will never happen again.
Block 'em.
That's scary, but thank you. Questions. And we're going to prioritize our red badge members when they have questions. Bunny, I see you first.
And I'm a red badge member, as you know,
Perfect,
President Karen.
perfect.
Hey, that was a great presentation. So I've probably been approached about 24 times on Instagram by people who tell me my photography is so great, they want to pay for it with crypto, and I just do ignore and delete that contact. Do you want to know about those so you can try to
tell
track
me who
them
they
down?
are. Sure, send them my way.
Okay, I
Yeah.
definitely will then. Thanks.
Yeah.
Wow. It's kind of laughable that somebody would pay for a photograph, so that's why I know it's a scam.
Yeah.
Arthur, welcome back.
I'm loud enough. To what extent are you able to get the word out to kids, to junior high school, to high school, to people? Because when you talk, we're a very specialized audience. But to what extent can you get the word out much more broadly than you have so far? And what are you doing about that?
Thank you so much for asking that question. So for the next 6 months, I've been trying to eat the whole elephant, and I thought, well, I cannot eat the whole elephant. So for the next 6 months, I'm on Educate. And that's what I'm going to do. And so I speak somewhere 3 or 4 times a week, and but I'm only me. And so we need to have more people who are familiar with this phenomenon, who are willing to talk about it wherever they are. And you know, it's a small thought, but it's like you should tell your wife's hairdresser about this, and she should tell her kid's soccer coach. And the more we talk about this and expose what this is, it becomes something like the Nigerian prince, where we all know that that's phony. Yeah.
Getting on CNN, getting on MSNBC, getting on Fox News, and really getting the word out.
I love that idea, and yes, that is part of the plan. So yes, and if you can hook me up, please do.
Well, I too have received some of those text messages, but you had mentioned that Cambodia and Myanmar you talked about how they are benefiting from this. Can you elaborate a little more on that?
I'll tell you what international reporting says, and I'll tell you what the Institute for Justice Mission says, and what the UN says about this. What they say, and if you watch the Al Jazeera documentary, is that the people in Cambodia who are also co-owners of these buildings where this is happening are members of the government or related to the government. In Myanmar, we know that it's called a special economic zone, where Myanmar has allowed another country to come in and operate from there. But we also know who owns those special economic zones, and we know that they are Chinese individuals who are tied to organized crime. And we know that they have to pay for protection around where they are, and we know that they're paying rebel groups for that protection. And then we think about, well, rebel groups need to be armed, and how are they paying for those arms? Well, they're buying them from Russia and China. So when you think about my poor victim who almost killed himself and his $1 million, it's going in that crazy way, and it's going to places we don't want it to go.
Past President Steve, and by the way, you might have noticed I adopted your strategy of focusing on red badge member questions first. So thanks for that tidbit. Take it
Thank
away.
you, President Karen. Erin, wonderful talk today. Thank you. Is there anything we as individuals can do to make sure our cell phone numbers or email addresses aren't known by the scammers? And then the related question is, where do they get the lists? Is it incredibly simple for scammers to get massive lists of email addresses, cell phone numbers, et cetera?
Unfortunately, everything's on the dark web. Everything's buyable, everything's knowable on the dark web. Anytime that anything gets hacked, all of that goes on the dark web and it's available for sale. So, so what you can do is you can block every number that comes your way. You can be aware and you can educate everyone in your neighborhood. You, as far as email addresses, they can find all that.
Alfreda?
Yes, I also want to know about the Nigerians. So you're telling me about the South Asian? Nigeria do have a scammer too. Can you touch on that, please?
So yes, I will. So, what I'm grateful for in my coalition is that I have developed relationships with Nigerian law enforcement. And here's what they tell me about it. They tell me that Nigeria is more recently to this game, and that my Nigerians are not being forced to do this, but they are doing it for profit. That the Nigerians they are familiar with are operating in these centers willingly and for profit. And so yes, and what we do believe is the more that the world takes notice of this and realize that it actually works very well and is a very lucrative operation, we're seeing it pop up in some of the former Soviet Union states. We're seeing it pop up in all kinds of different places. But yes, it's a problem in Nigeria as well.
Terry, I see you, but we're going to take a question from our Zoom audience. And by the way, to our Zoomers, we heard you loud and clear that you're having difficulty if we're not very close to the
Oh,
mic.
thank
so
you,
we'll
thank
make
you.
a concerted
Okay.
effort to continue to do that. Gloria would like to know if this is happening in North Korea as well.
We have not seen that.
Well, that was a simple answer to a
Yeah.
simple question.
Yeah.
Terry Chapman.
Thank you for your presentation today. It was really interesting. And I'm wondering if you can tell me more about the information of the people on the other end of the phone. You mentioned that they're in these buildings, their passport's been taken away. Where do they come from? Are they, I assume, English-speaking countries, or who are they?
They are primarily Southeast Asian, Australian, sort of APAC type, like reasonably close in location. Definitely English speakers are preferred and highly sought after, but a lot of the conversations, I will say that this crime is skewed heavily in favor of Asian American victims, and a lot of the conversations are taking place in Chinese.
Dave Peterson.
Thanks. I'm not quite sure how to ask the question, I guess, but it just almost sounds like this is another country taking advantage of our country. It's a federal level as well as obviously a local level and everything in between. Is there not a more direct, violent, for a lack of a better word, approach to take action against these criminals?
I have to agree with you that this is way, this is a major transnational issue. It's a major geopolitical issue. And I think that it will not resolve until the State Department takes notice of it and determines how they want to handle it, whether with diplomacy or, I'm sure there are lots of reasons that I am not privy to that they have not done that so far. But what we have seen is we have seen some of the other Asian countries start to conduct raids and pull some people out of these places. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Kathleen.
Fabulous and very scary presentation. Thank you. I just have a question. You talked about sharing it with your family, and is there a source or an article we can cite so I can share with like 500 of my best friends on Facebook?
Oh, I love this so much. And so I'm doing a website, and my website's going to be operationshamrock.com. But in the meantime, if you reach out to me, I would love to share some information with you that you can spread. Well,
if you send it to me, I will make sure it gets into the bulletin or the Monday message.
Sounds great.
Thank you. One last question?
I actually wanted to make
Oh,
a
from you.
comment
Okay.
myself.
Kelly, okay.
So I actually can assure you this is all very real. Two people that are very close to me fell for this. One, thankfully, he found out about it and he lost just maybe $1,000. But the other one, it was over $25,000. And these guys are in their 20s.
Yeah.
So it is very much real. and these guys are good.
Yeah, thank you.
So I personally would love to find out more about the Shamrock. Sorry, this is very, whew.
Yeah, so
Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you. So to me, Operation Shamrock was my response to being a county prosecutor and having certain limits on what I could actually do. And so I thought, well, what needs to be done? What are ways that we can make this stop happening? And to me, the ideas were education, seizing, and disrupting. I definitely agree with your colleague that this is a big deal. And so honestly, like, this is my mission. This is what I do all day, every day. And I keep talking to people and I keep trying to figure out how to move this up the chain of people who are interested. And I spent a good time with the Secret Service this morning trying to talk to them about how to take this more seriously.
Yes,
Quick
just quickly,
question.
how many other deputy DAs are working with you, and how big a staff do you have currently with the Santa Clara County?
Well, there's me.
Well, I presume that you have the blessing of the Jeff Rosen, so I would think, since it's such a big problem, aren't you guys trying to grow your staff? And
So I will tell you that Jeff Rosen is very concerned about this problem and has really given me breadth that very few district attorney deputy DAs get. I'm able to talk about it and to really spread the message, and he's let me do that. I also work with the REACT task force, and so my task force is diligently working on our local victims and how to help our local victims. But what I'm seeing is a problem much larger than my local victims. And so I'm very interested in pursuing this in all kinds of different directions.
And one last quick question from one of our Zoomers, Richard Alejandro. Is anything being done to combat the plethora of fake Facebook accounts being created that impersonate family members and friends that try to scam you? Seems to be highly on the rise, and I could see them using this method to get you.
This is absolutely a major problem, and one that I was discussing also this morning with the Secret Service and discussing. We have connections at Meta, and we are able to talk to them, but I think there has to be a better mechanism for reporting these other than just pressing fake profile. What I can tell you is I've met this poor gentleman who's he's a military vet, and he's super cute, and so what's happened is a lot of the scammers have taken his face and his image, and they use that as their lure. And what I can tell you is that it becomes dramatically difficult when these women then realize that he's actually Brian Denny, and they start reaching out to Brian Denny's wife and saying that your husband is scamming me. So it's a major problem. It's a major problem, and it's a major problem that requires it seems like a technical solution in terms of let's eliminate faces we know, let's take all of those off the platform. And yes, I agree that that's a big deal and something that needs to be worked on.
You are simply outstanding and one of the best speakers we've had the privilege of hosting during my presidential year, which is 2 months in.
Fantastic.
So please join me in thanking Erin. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Sure. Whichever way you want to go. We've made a contribution to Loaves and Fishes in honor of today's presentation. So once again, thank you. A reminder, in case you somehow missed it at the beginning of today's meeting, there is no meeting here next Wednesday. We will all be at the barbecue. Don't forget to sign up. In 2 weeks, our speaker will be Adam Dorsey, talking about using the science of happiness to drive success. And now, with my last minute, I have a special request to all of you. I was approached by the International Service Director for one of the Mexican Rotarian clubs. There is a host of medical supplies here in the San Jose area that need to be transported to the Tijuana border, not cross the border, but to the border, where the club from Mexico will then take possession of those supplies and deliver them. My husband has graciously agreed to do all of the driving, but if anybody has a trailer or a flatbed truck that we could use to accommodate this and not have to rent one, please contact me directly. We really want to be responsive. Medical supplies change lives and save lives, and that's what we're all about. And then, in my final thought for today, one of the best parts of life is that every morning when you wake up, you have a new opportunity to create the vision of who you want to be and to become a happier person. So don't forget to feed your brain positivity. It believes what you tell it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next Wednesday.